Why, hello there and good morning. Paul Tranny here in my small shirt. Gonna dive into today's and our final daily creative challenge that we have for Photoshop. This wraps up roughly about 9 days of challenges, so it's good to have you here. Hello, Nadia and Ferry and everyone. This is gonna be great. We're gonna end with symmetry, so I'm just cleaning up some of this. It's gonna be great. Using the Symmetry tool, and I'm actually giving you some fun brushes that I'll show you right now. So let's kind of jump over there if we could. Awesome. Hello, all you wonderful people. That is right. Let's just switch over really fast. We can see here is my screen, and we can go ahead and get started. Cool. Here we are, Daily Creative Challenge. Scroll down. Oh, I'm getting kind of sad. This is our last day. Symmetry, make a family crest or a design using the Symmetry tool. So get started, click there. That's where you'll get this file. This file is cool because there's two things in here. There's going to be this PSD that looks empty, but it's not. And then a brush file. Okay, so those are the two things that you will have in there. And let me go ahead and make sure everybody has that as well. So from there, we'll launch Photoshop, and here is our lovely file. Okay, looks lovely and empty, which is a big no-no. It's like, oh, there's nothing here. It's so intimidating, right? It's much easier than that. Good to have you here, Jorge and Afroja. Awesome. And everyone, thank you so much for posting that, Sam. But right in here, we have our just a background, and then we have a source layer. Okay, so what we're going to do first, and actually let me step, before I even show you that, I'm going to go to layer 1 and I'm going to show you what you could do with symmetry. So we're going to select just a brush right over here, selecting a brush. We're going to just paint in black, and we're just going to do this nice and simply. So act like you don't have all these fun things in here. Let's just do a hard round brush. And then right up here, when you have that brush selected, you have the Symmetry tool right here. So this is where you set the symmetry options, and then you have all these various options. So you'll go down to, and since this isn't new, I don't know, I know a lot of people have seen this, we can go down to, let's just go to the vertical one initially. Right, here's our one line. We'll just hit enter. That's where we want our line to be, right in the center, and then we can start like painting or drawing and do all of that fun stuff. So that's this Symmetry brush, right? So that's what happens. I'm calling it the Symmetry brush. It's the Symmetry tool using a brush, but we can get even more interesting. We can get into the radial as well. Take that radial up to 5, hit enter, and then start drawing like so. You guys kind of get the idea. And that's typically what you'll do, is you'll mess around, and your results may vary, right? It's going to end up with something like this. By the way, each time you create something in paths, this is what's happening. It's like created this, it knows that I'm using this radial symmetry, right? If I want to go back to this one, for instance, the vertical symmetry, and disregard this one. I think this one was actually left in there for you just as a backup. But if I click on this one, I can say, hey, you know what? Let's make this one the symmetry path, right? Like that. And now we're back to the vertical line. Okay, so if you reposition it, it all gets, it's always going to be saved in your paths, right? So a lot of people might not know that it actually stays in there. So just be mindful of that, okay? And you could draw away. I know you're probably not going to create anything too crazy with just this brush, which is why I gave you a bunch of new brushes so we can make something fun, okay? So that is the plan. Okay, I'm going to click right there. Boom, boom. And let's go back to this radial symmetry that I just had. And again, right click. We will make this my symmetry. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that just yet. If you ever want to turn it off, you can right click, and then you can go ahead and disable symmetry path. Because we're going to go grab our brushes now. So we'll go to Window, Brushes, right here. You can see all my brushes are neatly organized, right? But I'm going to go ahead and make a brush because I want to go beyond these. Okay, so right down here, this bottom layer, I've actually just kind of dropped in some photos. So from here, what we can do with that turned on, I can make a brush of these flowers, for instance. So this is fun. I think this is fun because you're going to learn how to make a brush And then you're going to use that with a symmetry tool, which will be cool. Oh, awesome. Using symmetry tool for weapon design concepts lately. That's wild. So, okay, I'm capturing this flower because, hey, I think this will look cooler than what I was just painting. Go ahead, say it. It was horrible. Okay, so right in here, capturing this like so. Edit, and then I'll show you how to install the brushes. Right over here. Excuse me, everybody. Define brush preset. So I'm defining my flower brush just made, whatever, right? Making it unique, clicking OK. There we are. Here's our flower brush that we just made, okay? We could deselect, go on a new layer. That's the key thing, you know, turn off that previous layer, and now we have this lovely brush like so, okay? Works great. Okay, it's not terribly exciting. It gets more exciting if you go to the brush settings. So let's open up the brush settings. Rather than it just being standard, brush, 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 boring, 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 I get it. We can, yeah, we could try to change the color. Let's change it to a pink. Maybe that'll make it look more interesting, right? We have pink, but we have pink each time we click, right? I want many different colors for these flowers. So we'll go right over here. We'll go into, we have shape dynamics. We have color dynamics. Turning on color dynamics, we could apply per tip, right? Even though it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to be clicking and clicking. But we could do a foreground and background jitter, right? So now we'll make sure that we have a different color in the background. And now we have it bouncing between the foreground and the background color, right? These two colors, the pink and then that nice teal color, right? I can jitter the hue as well. If I crank that all the way up, we could see it will actually bounce outside of that color wheel, if you will, to the left and the right. So basically, it pretty much gives me anything that I want. Even if I click, ooh, trippy. Right? Why is it doing that? Because it's being applied per tip. Okay? But it's super fun. You're right. Pam, let's delete that. It's getting crazy. Let's go in here. I always want to keep in mind, right down here, there's this little window. So it's like, hey, rather than having it be crazy, right, we can start to control it a little bit more. So we can go to the brush tip size. I typically want to take this down, and the spacing. So that's where we want to space that out. That's under brush tip shape at the very top. Space that out. We can go into the the shape dynamics, and we can see it start to, you know, rotate those around the angle, okay? So that's what I'd want to do. So we have a minimum diameter we can work with. Size jitter as well. That's the other one I wanted to scroll up. So let's take the size and the angle jitter all the way up, right? And then we can get into scattering. We can scatter it a little bit further from where we click as well, okay? So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what's in all those brushes that you have. By the way, once you do all of that, you wanna save your new brush. Save this new brush preset. So this is my, you know, and I haven't even painted with it, new brush with all the cool settings, right? That's what we'll call it. What's up with my names? But now when we click, let's make this larger so we can see it, because remember, I've taken the size down, but now we get these flowers everywhere, which is really fun. Cool. Warning, it's addicting, yes, because you just feel like you have so much power in doing all this, right? So that's what you get. You can see it doing everything it needs to do. Remember, first boring, you're gonna have this initial boring brush, and then I ended up making this one with all the settings, okay? So let's kind of move on. Let's actually open up our brushes, or add our brushes that I've given you. Let's just put that behind there. Let's just move that over. So we'll go to our brushes panel, we'll click right here, flyout menu, and we will import the brushes that I've given you today. So import those brushes, go to the desktop, or wherever you've downloaded that ABR, right? Grab that, open that up, and sure enough, it just says Paul's, right? We could twirl that down, and now you have access to all this fun stuff, and now we can make magic happen in using symmetry and all that good stuff, right? I need about 5 coffees today. All right, so we will select this first one that I made. And look at this. As I select these, I could get this preview right over here, but chances are you'll click it, and then you can see all these brushes that we get. Let's go to these flowers. Oh, look at those lovely flowers, right? And again, we could treat this as just clicking once or just make this whole thing a bunch of brushes. But now that I have this at my fingertips, I can really make some fun patterns using the symmetry tool. So that's what I thought I would do. I even have some faces in here. This is going to be a lot of fun, okay? So let's do this. This is going to be fun, guys, huh? It's going to be so much fun. All right, so we will go to our brush, which I was just working with. Select any one of these, actually. Let's go to this first flower brush, since that's what we were working with. We'll go up here. We'll turn on, let's do radial. I like radial a lot. Let's bump it up to the segment count maybe up to 7. We'll click OK. There it is. Okay, we can always extend that out or whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. But just so we can visualize that, we'll hit Enter. Okay. Now we can get to painting. So now as I come in here, and let's change this color to, I think it's actually already set to random colors, but I'll just change that to a green in the beginning. So now I can click. It's obviously going to start doing this symmetry like that. If I ever want to rotate a brush, all I'm doing is holding down my my right arrow key, and I can click, and there we have it. So this gives you like so much more control, I feel, when you're using the symmetry tool. So we'll go with this flower. Let's drop a flower in there. Bam! We can see it changes it everywhere. And let's just make sure I have a fun color in here. I'm going to change this back to my hot pink. Right, there we go. Let's add this flower over here. Pink. We can see it adds it everywhere. And we're just having fun sort of creating this lovely old pattern. Let's get a palm in here as well. A number of things we can do. Wait for it. Let's rotate it around. If you hold down your Shift key, you can rotate your brush even faster. So there's a lovely palm. We'll maybe put this little leaf right down here. Click. You know, I'm just having fun kind of creating this. I thought it'd be fun to like include some faces, right? So let's just go down here and let's like add this face right in here. So down here at the bottom, I have these eyes and these noses. Again, this is just very much like my weird style. But let's take this around. It's actually upside down. It's kind of hard to see what it is. You might have to click, but you're like, oh, there's the face. So let's make this a little bit smaller. Oh, so sorry. Ugh, I hate it when I've accidentally touched my mouse like that. All my brushes are set to random, just so you know. But let's drop a face right in there. Pop, there it is. Not crazy about that. Let's switch it up. Okay. Let me show you something else really fast right in here. Just click. There we go. That's good. Oh, those are locked. Oh, guys, I have to take a look at this. I'm so sorry. I just noticed something because these are set up with my settings. But right over here, and this is what the concept I was just going to introduce with these brushes. Right in here, I have these locked. So I had every single brush I use, if I want them all to change colors and have different shapes and stuff, right? All you need to do is lock those down. So that's what I did, and that's why she actually was different. So anyways, if I decide I want to maybe not scatter her, I can take the scattering down, right? And she's not going to be scattered, but her size is changing. So anyways, hopefully that makes sense, everybody. Let's get this to where we like it, because I'm just going to start creating now, shall we? Let's rotate this face around. And make it smaller. There we go. So we'll do that there. We'll do this lovely hand. Maybe this hand is going to be like holding this flower, or the flower is coming out from it. It's right on that line, but obviously when I click, it's going to go ahead and put it on that line on all sides. So anyways, I'm just going to have some fun. I hope you guys don't mind. Let's move the brush settings over here so we can see everything a little bit better. By the way, I'm working all on one layer. Typically, if I did this and I was unsure about anything, I would probably add it as a new layer just to have that flexibility, right? But let's just kind of jump in here and see what we got, right? Here we go. So this is what I've done. By the way, and I'm so sorry about this, I had the color dynamics, I have that turned off. So now it's not going to change colors, because for your leaves, you probably don't want to have them pink or any other color other than green. So now I'm going to select green as my foreground color, and now I can click, and sure enough, it changes, or excuse me, keeps it the same everywhere. Same thing for my leaf line. As I start to add that in, I can do this. Something like that. Anyways, I am just having fun. I hope you guys don't mind. I want you to have fun in Photoshop. I have about 5 more minutes, actually a little bit more, to create something kind of cool, which is always a struggle. It's looking like a little bit of a mess, okay? But you get the idea. Cool. Right in here. What else do we have? Ooh, butterflies. Let's take a butterfly. Let's drop in a butterfly. And we could really work wherever we want. We'll have the butterfly up here, rotate it around. Butterfly, as I click, notice how it's still green. Here we can control that color as well, because I've turned it off in my brush settings. And I just realized that you're learning a lot more about brushes than even you are about symmetry. The symmetry is a really easy concept. It only gets fun when you start adding all these like fun brushes and start creating cool art with it, in my opinion. Right, so that's all I'm doing right now, as you can tell. Let's change this color as well. Let's drop in another one. Shift it like so. Cool. Okay, we'll click right in here, this little space, right on that line. Click. Sure enough, it adds it everywhere. Okay. All right. Right up here, by the way, as I work on this, hotkey for rotation, arrow keys. Hold down the shift key. It will do it in increments of, I think, 15% is what it will do. If these lines are getting in the way, we could see these symmetry lines kind of getting in the way of my design. I'm having a hard time visualizing it. Right up here at the top, we will go into hide symmetry, right? Let's just hide it. We notice in our paths panel right over here, hey, it's still on, right? Everything's still good. But now I can easily see, okay, now maybe I can add a flower that is going to be kind of orange down here, dropping that in like that. Okay, I'm just having fun now. Hope you don't mind. Changing this one back to our hot pink. Boom, there we are. I could start to fill all this in. So hopefully you find this as fun. And you can stack the layers with different symmetry effects. That's exactly right. You are good, Judith. That's right. You can stack them up. One thing you can't do is use one symmetry inside of another symmetry element. That would be really cool. Yeah, you can't use Command H to hide it, because that's going to hide all your extras. That's already taken out, right? So again, this is the thing about Devika. This is the thing about this. Like if you wanted to use images with the symmetry tool, you have to use a brush, because that's where this is available. So if it comes to text, if I wanted to add some text in here, I would actually turn that into a brush and then stamp that wherever I want, right? So that's what I would do if I wanted to introduce some lovely text. So let's go ahead and do that really fast. By the way, I added these. I have these leaves. Let's jump in here and this just add. Let's do lowercase. And let's do something floral really fast. Hurry, Paul, hurry. Where's my brain? It's right in here, properties. There we are. Let's go with this. PT, why not? There it is. As for this, let's go ahead and make this a brush. PT, done. Turn that off. Here are my other items. Let's actually get rid of some of this because I want to put it like right in the center. So give me 1 second as I jump in and select all of this stuff. We will fill in the gaps later, but we'll just put some initials right in the center. All right, cutting that, just pasting that on a new layer. We'll turn it off in case we need it later on. Going back to our brushes, here's the new brush I just added. Shrink this down. Paths. Symmetry is still on, as you can see, but here I can go ahead and click like right on that line, and it adds it on all the sides. Let's undo that. Go back to my brush, make it smaller, and let's click. That's the idea. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Easy enough. I believe PS asked the user to. All right, cool. Other questions? Jitter likes it. Rahul, hello to you. We have a lot of fun stuff happening in this design. And this is often what happens, by the way, is you actually tend to, it'll get pretty messy pretty quick, which is why you ultimately want to put everything on layers to make something unique. Let me go ahead and open up a final design I did a little bit earlier because I'm hoping everybody kind of spends a little bit more time on theirs. And let's just see if it's in here. Oh, I might not have it anymore, do I? Oh, maybe I do. Let's hide this. Just some different designs that I've made earlier. So again, still using mandala is what I used here. Layer upon layer. Here's one that I think turned out pretty cool, right? If I do say so. I like this one. Again, just a fun pattern that you can create. Yes, less is more. It's really helpful, by the way, if you could start linking things together. So look at this. I kind of like this. This is kind of nice, right? This is all I'm doing, just showing you all my designs. This one here, I went with straight black and white, and I think this is fun. It kind of has that sort of classic painting type look, as you can see. And here's another one I was working on, which was just, you know, a woman, right? Cool. Super fun what you can do. Go ahead and create your own wallpaper or crest like we're kind of doing, your own design. Once you have something that you like, I'm kind of into this black and white one for whatever reason. I'll go ahead and export that out and post it to Discord right now. So, but man, we did so many things, by the way, as part of these 9 days of challenges, right? We were all over the map. Here's some other ones, just kind of give you a glimpse of things that actually I did not show you that I ended up doing. So this was our vector and raster day, right? Had fun with that. This is the painting effects one we did earlier, so look for that. That's all on that challenge page. Here we have removing content-aware fill and removing and cleaning up these walls. And sure enough, these robots jump in there and start painting it again. Shame on them, right? Here we have the filter effects that we did. And here's the blur effects that I think we did yesterday too. Look at that. Super cool. Just basically a bunch of things that you could do in Photoshop. We basically traveled around the world, even to the moon, as you can see. Again, another example of filter effects as I just kind of go through my final files. You get the idea. We distorted text. It's all in the challenges on that challenge tab. And yeah, so much fun. Yes, I think it was fun. I think all of this was fun. I think this was kind of cool. Play with it. Inspire me, inspire others. Chad, you're fantastic. I just appreciate you guys. I had too much fun working with all this stuff as our, passport as we travel around the world in good old Photoshop. And that's also my initials, which is why I did it. I'm like, this is just fun. Photoshop, Paul Ryan Tranny. All right, I'm done, everybody. Thank you so much. Stick around. We got a great day happening today. Lots of fun challenges and master classes. So join me at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Jason's up next. Super fun hanging out with him. And Paul, you get the idea, Treddy. That's hilarious. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Be nice to one another. And wash your hands. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later today.